What's up, my skibbity sigmas? Today we're going to be talking about enharmonic modulation, so I'm going to give it up to Jordan to talk about enharmonicism first.
Enharmonicism is when two notes sound the same but are notated differently. For example, C flat and B natural. They will both be this key on the piano, and they would both sound the same, but they're notated differently. This is important as different chords can be notated completely differently and be called a different thing even though the notes would sound the same. And that in turn changes its function. Two chords in particularly would be the dominant or major minor 7 and the German augmented 6. Both of these chords sound the same, but will resolve differently depending on the way that they are notated enharmonically.
Our next topic up is modulation. We're going to be explaining how and why we do it. So let's start off with the how. I'll be honest, y'all probably know a lot more about modulation than I do. But from my understanding, the how we do it is we use a chord that sounds the same in both keys, and that is what we call our pivot chord. That's what we use as a bridge between two keys for us to modulate to. And the reason we do this modulation is maybe you're getting a little bit bored about playing in D major, so the composer will make you go into the key of A major, which they're pretty close, but sometimes they can also be evil and make you go to a completely foreign key. But thankfully, we're not going to be explaining that today, because we don't have that in our examples that you'll see in a little bit.
Let's start analyzing our piece. This is the third example on page 412 of the tonal harmony textbook. Based on the key signature and the notes in the first chord, we know it starts in D major. The first chord is D major 1, which moves into an F sharp minor 3 chord. The next chord is G major, which is the 4 of our key. The next chord is an inverted major 1 chord, followed by an inverted 5/7 chord. There's one more major 1 chord in root position before things get interesting. The next chord is going to be our pivot chord into the new key. You can usually hear this, but it's also indicated by the C natural, which isn't in D major.
Hey Cassidy, why don't you go ahead and explain the rest?
Thanks, Ellie. So, like she said, this is going to be our pivot chord. And this chord, in the key of D major, would usually be a 5/7 of 4 chord with this D, A, C natural, and F sharp.
Yeah, boy.
However, it doesn't resolve to a 4 chord like you would expect. Instead, it resolves to this F sharp minor chord over C sharp, which means that this is probably where we're going to modulate. So we know that a 5/7 chord can also be respelled as a German augmented 6th chord. In a German augmented 6th chord, it would be the root would turn to the flat 6. What? The third would turn to the first scale degree of the new key. The 5th would turn to the flat 3. And the 7th would turn to the sharp 4. So in this, we have a D natural, an F sharp, which tracks for that, an A, and then the C natural, which we can respell as a B sharp. So we can use this to modulate to our mediant key of F sharp minor, which in this case, instead of being distantly or foreignly related from D major, is actually closely related because it is the mediant key. And this German augmented 6th chord does resolve out correctly with the B sharp going to C sharp and the D going down to C sharp. So we know we have a 1/6/4 followed by the C sharp dominant 7 chord, which would be our 5/7 in the new key.
Oh my God!
And then we finish with a perfect authentic cadence in F sharp minor. a wonderful example of why we use reap and harmonic spellings